Die meist erwartetsten Spiele im Jahr 2026. Ich als absoluter Call of Duty-Fanatiker krieg nicht so viel mit von anderen Spielen, aber vielleicht wird es ja mal Zeit, was anderes zu zocken. Deshalb gucken wir uns heute gemeinsam an, was im Jahr 2026 alles auf uns zukommt. Scheinbar ein Wolverine-Game.
These are my most anticipated games of 2026. We're going to start with the obvious ones, then I'll show you some others that I think could be pretty cool. Grand Theft Auto 6, November, apparently.
Glaubt ihr, dass GTA 6 nochmal verschoben wird?
For this game is through the roof.
Ich kann mir vorstellen, dass es nochmal verschoben wird. Ich kann mir nicht vorstellen, dass es Ende 26 rauskommt. Wir haben jetzt schon Januar 26. Ich kann es mir nicht vorstellen. Ich sage, es kommt erst 27 raus.
Based on the trailer so far, it looks to be a highly detailed and simulated open world to play in, as expected, but perhaps with a more serious tone than usual. Can it live up to the hype? We'll find out. I'll be playing it for hours either way. Resident Evil 9. I played this at Gamescom last year and was just blown away. The demo was about 12 minutes long, but I enjoyed every single second of it. Amazing graphics and atmosphere. I was locked in while I was being stalked around a tight interior space by a disgusting monster that gave me Alien Isolation vibes. We also saw an outdoor city environment in a new trailer too, which is pretty exciting for Resident Evil. Of course, you can play it in third person as well, much like the original games. And I feel like it could be more of a survival game this time too. Leon's back, always a bonus. We're going to have a blast with this one. 007 First Light, GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64 took up many hours of my childhood at my dad's house on the weekends. 4-player split screen with my brother.
Halt geil aus,
and the
hat man schon viel auch zu gehört zu dem
have
Game.
a very special place in my heart. So the prospect of a brand new James Bond game is incredibly exciting. It's been 13 years since the last game to 007 Legends in 2012. Whilst I didn't get to play it at Gamescom last year, I did see a live demo of it there on PlayStation 5, and to be honest, it looks exactly like what I expected, with it being developed by IO Interactive. Hitman mixed with Uncharted, throw in some spy gadgets, and you've got the formula. I like that it's based off a younger James Bond 2 in its own universe, and it appears that they're taking more cues from the books, which is cool. If the story is compelling, they could be on to the start of an amazing trilogy of games here. Wolverine, one of my favorite characters.
Also der James Bond Teil sah sehr interessant aus. Da habe ich mir auch schon ein bisschen was zu angeschaut. Das ist so ein Game, was so ein bisschen auf meiner Liste ist auch. Klingt cool.
In the Marvel Universe, mostly because of the original X-Men cartoon in the 90s that I was glued to on a Saturday morning. Insomniac are developing this one, of course. They did a fantastic job with Spider-Man and
stimmt,
its sequel, fun gameplay in a dense environment and a story that got me right in the feels on a few occasions. I think many people were concerned though with Wolverine that they would softball it, but based on the first couple of trailers that do have some gameplay in them, it looks incredibly brutal and action-packed. The tone seems bang on, and they've already revealed a couple of villains you'll be up against. I'm expecting big things from this one and really looking forward to it. Star Wars Galactic Racer. This is a new racing game set in the Star Wars universe, obviously, from ex-Criterion developers who worked on Need for Speed and Burnout.
Ich bin ein riesengroßer Fan von Star Wars. Ich habe Need for Speed tot gespielt damals. Mein Lieblings-Need for Speed war Most Wanted. Und Burnout 3 Takedown, auch mein liebstes Burnout gewesen. Criterion ist ein sehr gutes Studio, beziehungsweise die können auf jeden Fall Games machen. Ich bin gespannt, wie das jetzt aussieht mit dem Star Wars Pod Racer.
Dank Farrick, sign me up.
Bin ich gespannt.
That was really nerdy.
Sehr
Genuinely,
cool.
Though, this could be fun as hell. Single player and online multiplayer. I'm not expecting simulation type gameplay. Instead, more fun, arcadey goodness that these guys are known for. We saw several types of ships and vehicles in the trailer already, and Sebulba. So
Alter, Sebulbas Pod Racer, der Sound von dem so geil. Dieses so ultra geil.
In here,
wow,
please,
Kindheit.
Episode 1 Pod Racer, that's another game that I deeply love. 12 years old, ragging around the Bunter classic from the movie as Anakin Skywalker. I was in heaven. So if Galactic Racer could give me back just a smidge of those feelings, I'm going to be over the moon. Years of War Eday. If you were lucky enough to be gaming when the Xbox 360 was the hottest console on the market, you'll know how exciting Gears of War was.
Ich war immer Team PlayStation, das habe ich das nie gezockt. Das war ja ein Xbox-Exclusive Game.
Changed the industry, introducing gritty cover-based shooters to the masses, smashing into a wall after a sprint, popping up to let out a burst from your rifle, or blind firing felt incredible. Combine that with melee, and lots of the red stuff made for some very satisfying combat. The multiplayer was great too and worked amazingly well in LAN environments for fun and more serious tournaments too. The new game, Eday, is actually a prequel set 14 years before the first game, showcasing the events of Eday or Emergence Day when the Locust War began. Marcus and Dom will take center stage. The graphics will no doubt be incredible, and I hope that they lean into the horror and emotion here. Years 4 and 5 were a bit disappointing, so I'd love to see the franchise make a strong return with this one. Phantom Blade Zero. I have actually played this one at an Nvidia event last year, and I think it's going to be wildly successful. People will look at it and say it's another Souls-like, but to me, it played more like an old school hack and slash, maybe more comparable to Ninja Gaiden or Wukong, I would say. The graphics and animations in particular were very smooth, and the combat was incredibly fun. Timing dodges, parries, you know the score. Many unique fighting options here. You have 2 blades, which are your main weapons, and 2 phantom weapons, so to speak. I only got to jump on this for about 25 minutes, but I enjoyed it immensely. The bit that I played was kind of semi-open world too, with a bit of exploration. It's cool. Definitely one to keep an eye on if you're interested in these type of games. Toxic Commando. This is a new co-op FPS zombie game from Saber Interactive. Think Left 4 Dead with huge undead swarms and big maps. I posted a video on it recently where I got to record an early build, and I reckon it will be a bit of a sleeper hit. You go through levels, completing main objectives, optional objectives, fighting special infected, mini-bosses, and collecting resources for upgrades on your skill tree. The twist though is that the maps are large, and you've got the addition of vehicles, crazy zombie hordes, and mud. Your vehicle can actually get stuck in mud, and you'll have to winch sometimes to get out of a sticky situation. It will need fuel and repairs too. So it's kind of a mix of the best parts of Left 4 Dead, Space Marine, World War Z, and SnowRunner. And while I don't think it's going to be groundbreaking or win any awards, they are pricing it at $40, and I think with friends, it could be very fun to play through, and also more playtime if they keep adding additional levels and content in the live service throughout the year. Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. I don't know why, but for some reason, Rocksteady Studios just stopped making Batman Arkham games. Asylum, City, and Night was an amazing trilogy with fun gameplay and a story that dug deep into the world of Batman. And I felt that there was still so much more that they could have done with that franchise. There are rumors and a couple of leaks that a new next-gen Batman game from that studio is in development, which is good to hear. But in the meantime, we have this one to look forward to, and it could scratch that itch. This is made by TT Games, who also created the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, which was brilliant. So I'm expecting big things here. Lego games are always good, pure fun. But I think this one has got serious potential to be more than just that, and based on the trailers and the info on their website, I'm excited for it. And they're saying that they've created an open and immersive Gotham City where you can grapple, glide, or drive through the open world with agility and speed while discovering crimes, challenges, rewards, secrets, and iconic landmarks such as Arkham Asylum, Ace Chemicals, and Wayne Tower. We've also seen Bane, Penguin, and the Joker 2. I'm 100% in for this, and I'm pretty confident that this game will be a blast and a massive success. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake. This one isn't officially announced, and I'm going out on a limb here.
Habe ich auch nicht gespielt. Ich habe Assassin's Creed 1 gespielt, Assassin's Creed 2 und 3 war dann Black Flag, glaube ich, ne? Das hat mich nicht so gecatcht, einfach weil ich nicht so der Piraten-Fan bin. Und viele fanden das ultra krass, aber ich habe es einfach nie gezockt, weil, keine Ahnung, Piraten einfach nicht meins.
Recent domain registrations and insider information, it would appear that the release of a Black Flag remake is imminent. This excites me. The rumors are that it's running on the latest Anvil engine too, so it has the potential to look incredible. And for many people, Black Flag was the last good Assassin's Creed game. To start with, pirates are just cool, and who would have thought that that setting would work for an Assassin's Creed game, but it did. A nice mix of the old stealthier combat with a bit of new thrown in, sailing on the open seas with the shanties going, naval combat, a huge and beautiful world to explore. This game had an incredible sense of adventure, and I would love to return to it. I know that retreading old ground isn't to everyone's taste, and I do hope that they can get the Assassin's Creed franchise back on track with their new games too. But if this is a modernized, from the ground up version of Black Flag, I'll be playing it for many, many hours. Tomb Raider Remake. Another remake? Seriously? I'm going to be honest. Outside of Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, this was the thing at the last Game Awards in December that I cared about the most. It looks absolutely gorgeous, visuals and animation-wise.
Tomb Raider, auch einer der ersten Games, die ich damals gezockt habe. Diese Rätsel und sowas, das war schon echt geil.
Is old when I played the original Tomb Raider. Perhaps a bit too young, some might say, but I was hooked on the platforming and puzzles. And for me, it was one of the first proper 3D platform action games. Flipping around everywhere, having to actually look at the environment and figure out where you needed to go, fighting velociraptors and a T-Rex with akimbo pistols. Come on. It made you feel smart too if you figured out a difficult puzzle without looking at the Prima Strategy guidebook. The doppelganger puzzle springs to mind. The Steam store page is telling me that the remake, officially titled Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, has jaw-dropping visuals powered by Unreal Engine 5, modern gameplay and new surprises that honor the spirit of the original. It all sounds and looks very promising and I can't wait to jump into this one. The Expanse, Osiris Reborn. A third-person action RPG set in the Expanse universe.
Ich habe die Expanse ist doch, glaube ich, die Serie, ne? Da fand ich leider die Schauspieler total scheiße. Also ich hasse das, wenn du irgendwas schaust und du siehst, dass die Schauspieler es nicht drauf haben. Deshalb habe ich das direkt wieder abgebrochen. Aber es soll wohl eigentlich echt geil sein. Und das sieht cool aus. So generell Weltall und sowas interessiert mich schon immer sehr.
The Merc caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, trying to hold your crew together and keep the ship up and running. Your choices will shape your story. That's their synopsis for the game. I haven't read the books, but I watched all of the TV episodes and I fell in love with it. Yes, it's sci-fi, but almost everything in there feels grounded in some way with science and engineering, making it perhaps more plausible. The way that the ships work, the way that recall works.
Aber sowas finde ich aber eigentlich interessant.
The railguns, weapons in space, gravity, mag boots. Yeah, you have to suspend your disbelief for certain elements of the plot, but it's so easy to get lost in its gritty setting. And now, this atmosphere, with this type of game and gameplay, an action RPG, that could be incredible if they pull it off. And maybe some kind of ship managing system in there too. I'm not sure. I am 50-50 on if this will release in 2026, but I sure hope it will. And if done well, it could be a big hit for sci-fi game fans and maybe even make that wait for the new Mass Effect game feel much shorter. Mouse PI for hire. As I'm aware, in the first-person shooter genre, there is no other game that looks like this. Black and white rubber hose visuals, drawn by hand, frame by frame. Obviously, it's heavily inspired by Disney's Steamboat Willie cartoon in video game form. Well, you know, like a general 1930s cartoon art style, Mickey Mouse, Betty Boop, that kind of thing. With this gorgeous mix of 3D and 2D. It's unapologetically a boomer shooter too. It has that tag on the Steam page. Throw on top some humor, a noir detective story, setting, missions, a unique jazz soundtrack, and you're standing out from the crowd. I've not played it myself, I've only read previews and seen the trailers, but from what people are saying, the combat is fun. There's a variety of interesting weapons, power-ups, and you can complete objectives in many different ways. There are also unlockable movement abilities like wall running, grapple hooks, and Metroidvania-inspired level traversal. I'm not expecting this to be a massive game that lasts 40 hours or so, but if it's a fun FPS single-player experience with these graphics, I'm sure that it's going to stick with me for a long time.
Yeah, so
Halo Campaign Evolved. This will be the last time I mention a remake, I promise. I've played an early build of this on the Series X, and I think that they're doing a good job with it on first impressions. This is a from-the-ground-up Unreal Engine 5 remake of the original Halo game, releasing on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. It looks gorgeous in 4K, and they're adding online 4-player co-op with crossplay, 2-player local split screen on console. Skulls are being added to the game too. I don't think the original Halo had any skulls, but they're basically modifiers for the campaign. And they've done enhanced audio, cinematics with re-recorded dialogue from many of the original cast. A couple bits of the gameplay were updated a bit, like adding sprint, which will be divisive, but you can turn that off if you want to. I can't wait to jump back into this. The latest rumor too is that Xbox are remaking Halo 2 and 3 as well. No confirmation of that yet, but I'm sure that would go down well, especially if the multiplayer suites are included. Some honorable mentions I wanted to put here too. Pragmata. Played this at Gamescom and really enjoyed my time with it. I think the demo is on Steam now, actually, if you want to check it out. Capcom are making this in an interesting sci-fi setting. You almost play as two characters at once. This hench dude in an Iron Man type suit who does the movement and the blasting, while the android girl on the back slows down time and can do puzzles and hack enemies mid-fight. Kind of like an action puzzle game, I would say. It was interesting to play for sure and fun to fight the bosses. Could be quite an emotional story too. Crimson Desert, this looks like a very ambitious RPG. Massive open world, cinematics, combat. Could be one to keep an eye on. Saros, this is from Housemarque, who made Returnal. Basically, third-person bullet hell shooter. The next iteration of what they did with Returnal, I suppose. It looks fun and releasing in April, if it sticks to the schedule. Very dark and atmospheric. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra, another Marvel game, this time with a World War II setting featuring Captain America and Black Panther as playable characters. Super serious tone in the trailers too, which I was into. Not much known about the gameplay yet, but from what I could find online, it's going to be action adventure, so perhaps expect Uncharted style gameplay. It might release in the holiday season this year, but will probably be delayed into 2027. I wanted to put it on my list just in case. And finally, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. Not confirmed, but the rumors say that Infinity Ward are bringing Modern Warfare back at the end of the year. It could be like a reboot of the franchise, and I'm interested to see.
Verlegen das ein bisschen nach vorne, dass die Serie COD. Wenn wirklich GTA rauskommen sollte, wäre das nicht so cool, wenn das gleichzeitig kommt.
If they can turn COD around more than anything, how will they innovate and what type of game will it end up being? I am working on a full video on this too, where we'll discuss it further. Should be coming soon. But this year could be a make or break moment for Call of Duty. And that's all I've got for you today. It's shaping
Interessante Games. Was würdet ihr sagen, was interessiert euch davon am meisten? Ich würde jetzt sagen, für mich persönlich sind es 2 Games. Einmal dieser Star Wars Pod Racer, dieses Pod Racer Game. Das sieht cool aus. Und ich würde sagen James Bond. Das sind so die beiden Games, wo ich mich außerhalb von Call of Duty natürlich so ein bisschen am meisten drauf freue. Natürlich auch GTA. Aber ja, bin ich mal gespannt. Eigentlich echt viele coole Games, die dieses Jahr rauskommen. Was ich auch interessant finde, war tatsächlich das. Irgendwas macht das mit mir. Ich glaube, die meisten werden sagen, was ist denn das für ein Scheiß, aber ich finde irgendwie das sehr cool. Naja, ich würde sagen, wir sehen uns im nächsten Video oder im nächsten Livestream. Macht's gut, bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao, ciao. Und lasst ein Like da. Lasst mal ein Like da. Macht's gut.